Yeah, the Kennedy Center is not something I really care a lot about, but I do care that an American president doesn't see anything wrong with him personally taking it over, or that his communications director, Stephen Chung, said it was justified because Trump, quote, is a virtuoso and his musical choices represent a brilliant palette of vibrant colors when others often paint in pale pastels. These bills they've introduced to make Trump's birthday a holiday and put him on currency and Mount Rushmore. This is not what we do here, guys. He's still in office, for God's sake. Can we see how it turns out before we put him on a stamp?
Yeah. Bill Maher recently delivered a scathing critique of Donald Trump that got everyone talking. During his program, Maher highlighted concerns about presidential overreach into cultural institutions like the Kennedy Center. Maher expressed clear frustration about premature proposals to honor Trump with currency appearances, national holidays, and monument placements before his administration had even concluded. Shouldn't we see the full story before we put someone on a stamp, he questioned.
Like Trump now, they name weapons systems after him. They've even dressed like him with the trademark suit and tie.
This wasn't just mild criticism, it was a complete takedown that shocked viewers. The segment included jokes about Trump's appearance, family remarks, and political decisions, all delivered so sharply that audiences wondered how Trump could withstand such concentrated criticism. The critique pointed out how some Trump supporters had taken admiration to extremes, from naming defense systems after him to adopting his distinctive fashion choices. Many viewers felt this kind of direct criticism of Trump was long overdue.
Al wants to name Dulles Airport after Trump. It'll be like other airports, except the international terminal only has departures. There's also a bill in Congress to add Trump to Mount Rushmore, because like Washington, he's a patriot. Like Teddy Roosevelt, he's a renegade. And like Abraham Lincoln, he's not really helping the theater scene in Washington, D.C.
After years of controversial statements, questionable claims, and regular outbursts from Trump, Maher appeared to have reached his limit with what he described as repetitive political theater. During the program, Maher joked about Madison Cawthorn's proposal to rename Dulles Airport after Trump, suggesting it would feature a unique international terminal with only departures, no arrivals. This quip received substantial audience appreciation.
If I admit that there is a level of Trump derangement syndrome on the left, will you admit that this shit is also deranged? All the people.
The segment continued with references to proposed monument appearances, drawing ironic comparisons to historical figures like Washington, Roosevelt, and Lincoln, particularly noting that Lincoln had a famously problematic relationship with theater venues in Washington. What made this segment particularly noteworthy wasn't just casual criticism. The thorough nature of Maher's takedown demonstrated remarkable commitment to examining Trump from multiple angles. The intensity suggested genuine frustration rather than just entertainment value.
Stock market has lost $5 trillion in 3 weeks. Yes, Trump, he's the Ozempic of the economy.
Despite Trump's attempts to position himself as untouchable, Maher didn't hold back. If I acknowledge that Trump derangement syndrome exists on the left, will you admit this behavior is equally deranged? Maher challenged, receiving audience approval. Maher targeted Trump's self-perception as larger than life, that superhero persona in his personal narrative. The critique focused on Trump's notorious ego, which has been consistently visible throughout his business career and presidency. Maher emphasized how disconnected Trump appears to be from everyday reality.
All the people on the right who say they certainly don't agree with me on everything, but they respect the way I keep it real about the left and like me because I'm honest, well, that's a two-way street. Are you being honest? At Trump's speech this month to a joint session of Congress, he claimed the government had spent $8 million making mice transgender. It did not. The $8 million was for transgenic mice, mice that were being genetically modified to study how hormone treatments affect human health. We were splicing their genes, not making them compete in women's sports.
He suggested that while Trump considers himself brilliant, truly intelligent people rarely need to announce their genius, implying that empty rooms make for easy claims of superiority. This criticism went beyond superficial jabs at Trump's appearance or distinctive styling choices. Instead, Maher focused on how Trump's grandiose self-image has become fodder for comedians everywhere. Maher also addressed his right-leaning viewers who appreciate his candor about progressive issues. All those conservatives who say they respect how I keep it real about the left because I'm honest. That's a two-way street. Are you being honest about Trump?
And finally, new rule: the Trump administration and its elite squad of Marvel Universe mutant budget Avengers known as Doge must tell us what happened to going after the military.
Let's check the military. We're going to find billions, hundreds of billions of dollars of fraud and abuse. And, you know, the people elected me on that.
Well, today they reported back on what they found when they checked the military, and it wasn't hundreds of billions or even billions. It was 580 million out of a defense budget of almost 900 billion.
Providing specific examples, Maher referenced Trump's misleading claim during a congressional address about $8 million spent making mice transgender. Maher clarified this was actually funding for transgenic mice used in health research, not some culture war initiative. We were splicing their genes, not making them compete in women's sports. Despite positioning himself as a champion of working people, Maher suggested Trump's understanding of average citizens is severely limited by his privileged lifestyle, perhaps only encountering regular folks when passing his staff on the way to leisure activities.
Today, Greenland offered to buy us. There are... There are CEOs out there begging Luigi Mangione to shoot them in the back of the head. Yes, it turns out that the stock market has really kind of rejected the notion that if we turn on our trading partners, chickens would lay more eggs.
This stark contrast between Trump's populist messaging and his actual lived experience of luxury and privilege formed the core of Maher's argument about political authenticity. Maher continued his critique, highlighting Trump's fondness for fast food while examining promises versus results. New rule: the Trump administration and its elite squad of Marvel Universe mutant budget Avengers known as Doge must explain what happened to their military spending investigation, Maher declared.
But today, Trump announced, we're building a new fighter jet, the F-47, and Trump said, we put in an order for a lot. We can't tell you the price. So what happened to fighter jets are obsolete in the age of drones? Was that just the ketamine talking?
He referenced Trump's campaign pledge: we're going to check the military and find billions, hundreds of billions of dollars of fraud and waste. People elected me on that. Yet when investigators reported their findings, they discovered only $580 million in questionable spending out of a nearly $900 billion defense budget. Far from the promised hundreds of billions, the segment also targeted Trump's branding strategy. Remember when Trump's name appeared on everything? Trump Tower, Trump Steaks, Trump Vodka, Trump University, Maher noted, particularly focusing on the controversial educational venture. He characterized Trump University as charging thousands to teach business failure, comparing it to selling someone a shovel than telling them to dig their own grave.
Defense budget is higher than the next 9 countries combined. It's more than triple that of our biggest adversary, China, and 8.5 times that of our closest ally, Russia.
This criticism went beyond humor, serving as a reminder of questionable business practices, suggesting Trump's empire focused more on marketing a personal brand than delivering substantive products or services. Maher didn't stop there, joking that Greenland offered to buy us and that CEOs are begging Luigi Mangione to shoot them in the back of the head. He observed that the stock market has rejected the notion that turning against trading partners would make chickens lay more eggs, mocking economic policies with absurdist imagery. The segment addressed Trump's controversial relationship with social media, particularly his Twitter presence, before being suspended from the platform. Maher characterized Trump's online behavior as rants, late-night tantrums, memes and never-ending posts designed to make others appear unstable.
When Biden was president, it was everything about the eggs, the price of eggs. We got to lower the price of eggs. And now Trump retweeted somebody last week who said, shut up about the eggs. And Americans are like, but we need eggs. What else are we going to throw at the Teslas?
He suggested Trump devoted more time to social media than most people spend on daily activities, using his platform to share content that reads like the ramblings of someone locked in a room for 72 hours with only McDonald's, Diet Coke, and a box of Cheez-Its. Maher ultimately framed the entire Trump presidency as the greatest reality TV show of them all, suggesting his administration prioritized spectacle over substance. Maher's critique of Trump became increasingly pointed as he characterized the presidency as a chaotic spectacle. He suggested voters took a chance thinking how bad could it get before discovering the answer was real bad. Maher compared the administration to watching a toddler try to run a country.
Power lines keep causing fires and keep not getting buried underground because it's expensive. I've heard people say, do you want to pay more taxes to fund this? No. I want you to use the exorbitant taxes you already collect to prioritize it.
He referenced recent military announcements. Trump announced we're building a new fighter jet, the F-47, saying we put in an order for a lot. We can't tell you the price. Maher questioned this claim against Trump's previous statements that fighter jets were becoming obsolete compared to drones, joking, was that just the ketamine talking? A comment that drew significant audience response. Maher explored what he viewed as Trump's contradictory qualities, combining what he characterized as ignorance with overwhelming confidence. He portrayed Trump as someone given a platform to speak without filters, highlighting what he considered the most perplexing moments of Trump's public statements.
There's a pattern in American politics, and it's about overreaching. Whenever someone wins an election big time, and Trump kind of did, they overreach. And that seems to be what's going on. And I said, maybe the best thing the Democrats can do is just be as lame as they are, and that strategy's working perfectly.
No, well...
And James Carville this week kind of one-upped it. He said, what the Democrats, I'm just asking, I'm not saying I necessarily agree with it. He said, they need to just play dead, because this administration, only 5 weeks old, is making itself so unpopular that the worst thing anybody else can do is just get in the way. They're digging a hole. Let them dig. Well, that's James Carville.
That must be the applause for the whole part.
The segment particularly focused on Trump's economic positions. Maher referenced Trump's suggestion that increasing Canadian tariffs would somehow boost economic growth, commenting sarcastically, "That's the guy we elected, that's the man we thought could run a country. Let's give him control of the global economy." This mockery of Trump's economic understanding resonated with the audience. Maher provided context about defense spending, noting our defense budget exceeds the next 9 countries combined, more than triple our biggest adversary China, and 8.5 times that of our closest ally, Russia. The last part sparked audience reaction, likely due to the ironic characterization of Russia as an American ally.